Let's get straight to the point. Number 8. The nocturnal saliva drought. Look at you, sleeping there with your mouth hanging open like a beached fish gasping for air. You wake up, smack your lips together, and that first exhale could knock out a charging rhino. You probably think it's normal, right? Just morning breath, everyone has it. Wrong. Here's the deal. Your mouth is supposed to be a self-cleaning biological miracle, but you've turned it into a bacterial nightclub. While you're sleeping, your saliva production drops by about 90%. You essentially shut off the sprinkler system that keeps your mouth from turning into a bacterial breeding ground. Scientists call this xerostomia or dry mouth, and it's basically your mouth's janitor clocking out for an 8-hour shift. That saliva you take for granted is packed with lysozymes, immunoglobulins, and antimicrobial compounds that normally keep your oral bacteria in check. Without it, anaerobic bacteria throw an all-night rager, multiplying faster than rabbits on fertility drugs. These bacteria feast on dead cells and proteins, releasing volatile sulfur compounds like hydrogen sulfide and methyl mercaptan. Studies show that nighttime salivary flow reduction directly correlates with increased morning halitosis intensity. Here's the scary part. These aren't just any bacteria. We're talking about the same microbes that cause periodontal disease. Your morning breath is literally decay gases wafting out of your face hole. It gets worse. Chronic dry mouth accelerates tooth decay, increases gum disease risk, and creates a breeding ground for infections that can spread to your bloodstream. Think of your sleeping mouth like a swamp that's been drained. All the gross stuff that was floating around suddenly concentrates into a thick, putrid sludge, fermenting like forgotten garbage in July. Stop sleeping with your mouth open like a confused goldfish. Breathe through your nose, stay hydrated before bed, and maybe invest in a humidifier. Number 7. The bacterial protein feast. Admit it, you had that late-night snack before bed. Maybe some chicken, cheese, or a protein shake because you're being healthy. You brushed your teeth after, so you're good, right? Pat yourself on the back, champ. Spoiler alert, you just loaded your mouth with bacterial ammunition. Proteins are the premium fuel for the nastiest bacteria in your mouth. When you eat protein-rich foods and then immediately go to sleep, you're essentially creating a petri dish experiment in your oral cavity. The bacteria that cause the worst breath, particularly Porphyromonas gingivalis and Fusobacterium nucleatum, absolutely love breaking down proteins. They use enzymes called proteases to tear apart amino acids like cysteine and methionine, and the byproducts include compounds like cadaverine and putrescine. Yes, those are real chemical names, and yes, they're named after dead bodies and rotting flesh because that's literally what they smell like. This proteolytic activity creates an alkaline environment that promotes tartar formation and periodontal disease. Here's the kicker. This isn't just about bad breath. This protein breakdown process creates tartar and dental calculus, that hard, crusty buildup on your teeth that's like cement made from death and negligence. Over time, this leads to gum recession and pockets that fill with pus. Your mouth becomes a festering wound that you carry around in your skull. It's like leaving raw meat on your kitchen counter overnight in summer. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong, and the smell will haunt your nightmares. Except this meat is inside your face, and you have to live with it. Eat your protein earlier in the evening, you animal. Give your mouth time to process it before you go horizontal. Use your brain for once. Number 6. The tongue biofilm carpet. You brush your teeth like a responsible adult. Gold star for you. But let me guess, you completely ignore that disgusting flesh carpet in the middle of your mouth, don't you? Your tongue sits there looking like a shag rug made of bacteria, and you just pretend it doesn't exist. Here's the truth. Your tongue is the single biggest contributor to your morning breath, and you're treating it like it's invisible. The surface of your tongue is covered in tiny projections called papillae, creating a landscape that looks like a microscopic forest under magnification. This textured surface has a massive surface area that traps dead cells, food particles, and something delightfully called tongue biofilm. Scientists estimate that your tongue harbors about 60% of the bacteria in your mouth, billions of microscopic organisms living in organized communities. The posterior dorsal surface of the tongue is the most significant reservoir for bacteria like Solobacterium murray. These microorganisms secrete a protective matrix of polysaccharides and proteins that acts like a fortress wall. Studies show that tongue cleaning alone can reduce VerSC levels by up to 75%. Here's the scary part. If you let this coating get thick enough, it can change colors. It can turn yellow, brown, or even black. This is called black hairy tongue, where the papillae elongate and get stained by bacteria and yeast. You could literally have a hairy, moldy tongue growing inside your mouth because you refuse to buy a $5 tool. Imagine a shaggy rug that hasn't been vacuumed in 10 years, full of dust mites, crumbs, and dirt. Now imagine that rug is wet, warm, and alive. That's your tongue, a dirty doormat. Buy a tongue scraper. Not a toothbrush, a scraper. Physically drag the sludge off your tongue every morning. It's gross, but so are you. Number 5. The post-nasal drip slide. Look at you sniffling away, thinking your allergies are just a minor annoyance. You lay down flat on your back, letting gravity do its dirty work, completely oblivious to the sludge sliding down the back of your throat. You think that mucus just disappears? No, you idiot. Here's the deal. Your nose and throat are connected, and your sinuses are basically a mucus factory. When you lie horizontal, that mucus, loaded with dead white blood cells, bacteria, and viruses, drips down the back of your throat and settles on the posterior dorsal surface of your tongue. Scientists call this the accumulation of mucin and glycoproteins. Your mucus is rich in proteins, which are the favorite snack of anaerobic bacteria. Chronic rhinitis, sinusitis, or allergies increase mucus production in the nasopharynx. This mucus contains proteins that bacteria break down through proteolysis, releasing VSCs and short-chain fatty acids. The oropharyngeal region becomes colonized by bacteria like Fusobacterium nucleatum and Tannerella forsythia, which thrive in that slimy environment. Here's the scary part. This creates tonsil stones, calcified nuggets of mucus, bacteria, and debris that get stuck in the crevices of your tonsils. They look like little white rocks, but if you squish one, it smells like concentrated death. You might not even know you have them, but they're there, radiating a stench that no amount of mouthwash can cover up. It's like having a clogged drain pipe in the back of your throat, filled with hair and soap scum, slowly leaking sewer gas into your mouth. You are basically a walking, talking plumbing disaster. Blow your nose before bed and maybe prop your head up with an extra pillow. Stop letting your own snot marinate in your throat all night. Number 4. The dehydration desert fan. You go to bed without drinking water because you didn't want to wake up to pee. Congratulations on that brilliant decision. Now your mouth is drier than a desert lizard's sense of humor, and you sleep with your mouth open like a dead fish. You basically turned yourself into a humidifier of pure filth. But wait, it gets dumber. Breathing through your mouth all night turns your oral cavity into a wind tunnel of dryness. Dehydration makes your saliva thick and useless, like trying to clean a kitchen with syrup. Less moisture, less saliva, more bacteria, more smell. When you're dehydrated, your salivary flow rate drops and saliva viscosity increases. Saliva's job is mechanical cleansing, buffering pH, and delivering antimicrobial components like secretory IgA. Mouth breathing increases evaporative water loss in the oral mucosa, further reducing the protective saliva film. Studies show that chronic mouth breathers have higher plaque levels, more gingivitis, and worse halitosis scores. Your circadian rhythm already reduces saliva production at night, and you're making it exponentially worse. Here's the scary part. Long-term mouth breathing can alter your orofacial structure, affect jaw alignment, and contribute to sleep-disordered breathing. It gets worse that constant dryness accelerates cavities, gum recession, and even tongue fissuring. So your breath smells bad, your teeth suffer, and your face shape might actually change. You've turned your mouth into a dusty attic where no one's cleaned in years, just cobweb air blowing across crusty surfaces. Every morning exhale is like opening that attic door and taking a warm, rotten breath in. Try drinking actual water. Shut your mouth when you sleep. Maybe use nasal strips if needed. Or keep air drying your tongue like laundry and wonder why it smells. Number 3. The medication xerostomia trap. You're taking medications because you're a functional adult with health issues. Good for you for not dying. But nobody told you that half the pills you're popping are turning your mouth into the Sahara Desert, did they? You pop those pills like candy and wonder why your mouth feels like sandpaper. Wrong assumption, buddy. Here's the reality. Over 400 common medications list dry mouth as a side effect. Antihistamines, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, pain relievers, decongestants. Basically, everything in your medicine cabinet is conspiring against your oral health. These drugs work by blocking neurotransmitters, particularly acetylcholine, which your salivary glands need to produce saliva. It's called anticholinergic effect, and it's turning your mouth into a bacterial playground. Without adequate saliva, your oral pH becomes more acidic. Your natural defense mechanisms shut down, and bacteria multiply exponentially. Many drugs are excreted partially through saliva, adding their own chemical smell to the mix. Certain antidepressants and antipsychotics can cause burning mouth syndrome, where your mouth feels like it's on fire and produces even less saliva in response. Here's the scary part. You're trapped in a pharmaceutical nightmare where the medicine keeping you alive is simultaneously destroying your oral health. Long-term use leads to rampant cavities, oral thrush, and a mouth that smells like a chemical factory mixed with a garbage dump. The metallic taste compounds the bad breath problem, creating a bouquet of horror. Imagine your salivary glands as water fountains that someone keeps turning off. Everything downstream dries up, dies, and starts to rot. You're living in a drought of your own pharmaceutical making. Talk to your doctor about alternatives, use prescription-strength dry mouth products, and chew sugar-free gum. Stop accepting this as normal, you medicated mummy. Number 2. The oral microbiome massacre. You used that alcohol-based mouthwash before bed because the commercials told you it kills 99.9% of germs. You felt so clean, so fresh, so proud of yourself. You absolute fool. You just napalmed your mouth like a careless warlord and made everything worse. Here's what actually happened. You just massacred your oral microbiome indiscriminately. Your mouth contains over 700 species of bacteria, and most of them are actually beneficial. But that mouthwash can't distinguish between good and bad bacteria. It's a biological weapon of mass destruction that kills everything in its path. The alcohol content, usually around 20–27%, desiccates bacterial cells indiscriminately. Scientists call the beneficial bacteria your oral commensal flora, and they're your first line of defense against truly nasty pathogens. When you kill all the bacteria, you create a vacant lot. The aggressive, fast-growing pathogenic bacteria move in first. They're like the weeds of your mouth. This creates dysbiosis, where harmful bacteria outnumber helpful ones. These pathogens produce more volatile sulfur compounds, more acidic waste products, and more inflammatory factors. The alcohol also dries out your mouth further, compounding every problem. Here's the scary part. Your breath gets worse, not better. You've created a post-apocalyptic wasteland in your mouth where only the worst organisms survive. The beneficial bacteria that normally compete with pathogens are gone, leaving you defenseless against Streptococcus mutans, Porphyromonas gingivalis, and other stink manufacturers. It's like burning down a forest to get rid of some weeds. Sure, you killed the weeds, but you also destroyed the entire ecosystem, and now invasive species are taking over. Your mouth is an ecological disaster zone. Use alcohol-free mouthwash, or just stick to brushing and flossing properly. Stop nuking your mouth into bacterial oblivion, you ecological terrorist. Number 1. The gastric reflux betrayal. You think your bad breath is just a mouth problem? Look at you, popping mints like they're candy trying to mask the scent, but it never goes away. You feel that burning in your chest? That burp that tastes like last night's pizza? You are rotting from the inside out, and no amount of brushing is going to fix a problem that starts in your gut. Wrong. Sometimes the call is coming from inside the house. If you have chronic morning breath that smells acidic or like vomit, it's likely gastroesophageal reflux disease. The lower esophageal sphincter between your stomach and esophagus is weak. While you sleep horizontally, gravity stops helping you, and stomach acid leaks up into your throat. Your stomach contains hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin to digest food. When the sphincter fails, this chyme partially digesting travels up the esophagus. This creates fetor X-or, where the smell originates from stomach gases. The odor is distinct. It smells of acrid bile and decaying food matter because that's literally what it is. Even microaspiration into the throat alters your oral pH, encouraging growth of acid-tolerant bacteria and destabilizing your normal oral microbiota. Studies show a strong association between GERD and extraoral halitosis, bad breath coming from beyond the mouth. It gets worse, you walking biohazard. This acid doesn't just smell bad, it dissolves your teeth, causing dental erosion on the back surfaces where you can't see it. Constant acid exposure can lead to Barrett's esophagus, a precancerous condition. You are ignoring a symptom that could literally kill you because you'd rather just chew gum. Your breath smells like vomit because you are literally leaking vomit. You've basically turned your esophagus into a chimney where stomach fumes drift up all night, slow smoking your throat like rotten meat. Then you greet the morning by exhaling that smoke in people's faces. Stop eating spicy garbage at midnight, elevate your head when you sleep, and go see a doctor. Your breath smells like a crime scene because your body is committing crimes against itself. All right, you mouth-breathing bacterial disasters. That's the list. Now that you know your morning breath is basically a chemical warfare experiment conducted by billions of bacteria feasting on your negligence, do something productive for once. Smash that like button because your breath needs all the help it can get. Hit subscribe because clearly you need someone to tell you basic hygiene facts your parents should have taught you. Share this with someone who makes you step back when they talk in the morning. I'm Sticky from Coolest Dudes, and I'll see you next time.